Have you ever stopped to think, what if the most dangerous part of your day is the very first hour after you wake up? Not when you're lifting heavy things, not when you're rushing through traffic, but while you're still in your pajamas, just doing what you do every morning. It sounds strange, doesn't it? But for people over 60, morning hours are the highest risk time for stroke. In fact, research shows that the majority of strokes happen before noon, often within just a few hours of waking up. Why? Because when we wake up, our body is going through major changes. Our blood is thicker, our blood pressure naturally rises, and our brain is working hard to reboot after a night of rest. Now, imagine starting your morning with habits that secretly make those risks even worse. Habits you've been doing for years, habits that feel normal, habits that may be silently pushing you closer to a stroke without you even knowing it. In this video, you'll discover the 7 common morning habits that increase stroke risk, especially in older adults, the simple changes that could dramatically lower that risk, and the number one most dangerous habit, a habit almost no one talks about, but nearly everyone does. If you're over 60 or care for someone who is, this could be one of the most important videos you watch this year. Because stroke doesn't always give a warning, but your habits might. So before we dive in, take a moment, grab a glass of water, take a deep breath, and let's explore how to make your morning safer, smarter, and more stroke-proof starting tomorrow. Let's start with something most people don't realize. Your body is under the most pressure in the morning. Right after you wake up, your brain, heart, and blood vessels go through a sudden shift. A shift that for healthy young adults isn't a big deal. But for seniors, it can create the perfect storm. Here's why. 1. Your blood is thicker in the morning. While you sleep, your body loses fluids. You breathe out moisture, you sweat, but you don't drink anything for 6 to 8 hours. So when you wake up, your blood is a little thicker like syrup instead of water. And thick blood, it moves slower, it clots more easily. That makes it more likely to block a blood vessel and lead to a stroke. 2. Your blood pressure rises sharply. Studies show that blood pressure spikes naturally in the first few hours of the morning. Doctors call this the morning surge. It happens because your body is getting ready for the day. Hormones like cortisol and adrenaline increase. Your heart rate speeds up and your blood vessels tighten. For someone with high blood pressure or even borderline numbers, this surge can push your body over the edge. In fact, some studies show that stroke risk is 80% higher between 6 a.m. and 12 noon compared to other times of day. 3. Your brain is still waking up. Your mind may feel alert, but your brain is still warming up, especially the parts that control movement, speech, and balance. That's why so many people feel lightheaded in the morning, struggle to focus, or even forget small things right after waking. If something goes wrong during this sensitive time, like a drop in oxygen or blood flow, the brain is less prepared to handle it. 4. Your movements are sudden after hours of stillness. Think about it. You've been lying down for 7 or 8 hours. Then suddenly, boom, you stand up, walk fast, maybe strain while using the bathroom. All of that puts pressure on your heart, blood vessels, and brain. It's like revving an engine after it's been off all night. And if you already have plaque buildup, narrow arteries, or weak blood flow, those sudden movements can trigger a serious event. A perfect storm, especially for older adults. As we age, our blood vessels stiffen. Our ability to regulate blood pressure weakens, and our brain becomes more sensitive to even small changes. That's why stroke risk increases with age, and why mornings are especially dangerous for people over 60. But here's the good news. Many of the risks are connected to habits. That means you can change them and protect yourself with just a few smart choices each morning. Coming up next, we'll begin with the first morning habit that may be silently raising your risk without you even knowing. Let's talk about a habit that many people think is harmless. Some even believe it's healthy. Skipping breakfast. Maybe you've heard that eating less in the morning helps with weight. Or maybe you're just not hungry when you wake up. A cup of coffee feels like enough. But here's the problem. For older adults, skipping breakfast may quietly increase stroke risk. And it all starts with your blood sugar and your blood pressure. When you skip breakfast, your body thinks you're under stress. After hours of sleep, your body is running on empty. When you don't eat in the morning, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to keep you going. That might give you a little energy at first, but those same hormones raise your blood pressure, make your blood vessels tighten, and increase inflammation throughout the body. For someone over 60 with already sensitive arteries, this adds fuel to the fire. Your brain needs fuel. Think of your brain like a car engine. It needs glucose, natural sugar from food to function. Without it, your brain becomes more vulnerable to drops in blood flow. You might feel lightheaded. You might get confused. You might not notice stroke symptoms if they start to appear. And that delay in noticing could cost you precious minutes. What does the research say? In a large study from Japan, researchers followed over 80,000 people. They found that people who regularly skipped breakfast had a 36% higher risk of stroke than those who ate something every morning. Another study showed that even irregular breakfast patterns like skipping a few times a week were linked to higher cholesterol, greater insulin resistance, and increased risk of blood clots. What you can do, instead, you don't need a full diner-style meal, just something light, balanced, and nourishing. A bowl of oatmeal with berries, a boiled egg and whole grain toast, a slice of avocado on whole wheat, or even a smoothie with spinach, banana, and protein. The key is to give your body something real, not just caffeine. Start small. Even half a banana and a handful of nuts is better than nothing. Your brain and your heart do their hardest work in the morning. Don't make them do it on empty. Coming up next, a morning habit millions of people rely on sometimes before their eyes are even open. But if done the wrong way, it may actually make things worse. For many of us, coffee is a morning ritual. That warm, familiar smell, that first sip before anything else. It wakes us up. It comforts us. It feels like the start of a good day. But here's something most people don't realize. Drinking coffee on an empty stomach, especially first thing in the morning, might be doing more harm than good, especially for older adults. Why it matters. Caffeine is a natural stimulant. It tells your body, let's go. But when your stomach is empty, caffeine has a stronger, faster impact. It raises your blood pressure more quickly. It can dehydrate you, especially if you haven't had water yet. And it can irritate the stomach lining, causing discomfort or nausea. That combination of dehydration, higher blood pressure, and sudden stimulation creates a risky environment for your heart and brain, especially in the first few hours of the day when your body is already more vulnerable. What does it do to the brain? Caffeine narrows your blood vessels temporarily. That's part of how it sharpens your focus. But narrowing blood vessels in the brain when your blood is already thicker from overnight dehydration can reduce circulation to key areas, increasing stroke risk in sensitive individuals. That's why some people feel lightheaded after coffee, jittery or anxious, or even get a sudden headache or pressure in the temples. These are not just caffeine side effects. They may be warning signs your body is struggling to keep balance. What the research shows, studies have shown that drinking coffee without food may cause a sharper spike in blood pressure, an increase in heart rate, and greater strain on the vascular system in people over 55. In people with hypertension, this spike could triple the risk of early morning cardiovascular events, including strokes. A safer way to enjoy your morning cup. You don't have to give up coffee. In fact, moderate coffee can be part of a heart-healthy lifestyle. But the key is timing and what you pair it with. Do this instead. Drink a glass of water as soon as you wake up. Eat a small breakfast or even just a light snack. Wait 15-30 minutes. Then enjoy your coffee. This gives your body time to rehydrate, stabilize blood sugar, and prepare for the caffeine. You'll still get the energy without the hidden risks. So the next time you reach for your mug before breakfast, pause for a moment, drink some water, have a bite to eat. Then savor your coffee with confidence and care. Coming up next, we'll look at a morning habit that seems harmless, even healthy, but could be quietly increasing inflammation and stroke risk over time. It's morning. You open the pantry. There's a box of cereal, a breakfast bar, maybe a muffin or some fruit juice. Quick, easy. Feels healthy enough, right? But here's the truth. Many common breakfast foods are loaded with hidden sugar. And starting your day with sugar, especially if you're over 60, can silently increase your risk of stroke over time. Let's talk about why. The problem with sugar in the morning. After a night of fasting, your body is sensitive. Your blood sugar levels are low. Your system is ready for balance. But when you eat a high-sugar breakfast like sweetened cereal pastries, syrupy pancakes, breakfast bars, or fruit juice from a carton, your blood sugar spikes. Then it crashes. That sudden roller coaster triggers a chain reaction. The pancreas releases insulin. Blood vessels get inflamed. Blood pressure may rise and your brain gets flooded with mixed signals. This stress on your body repeated daily can increase artery damage, blood clotting risk, and long-term stroke risk. The brain on sugar. Your brain runs on glucose, but that doesn't mean it wants a sugar rush. When blood sugar spikes too high too fast, your brain struggles to keep up. You might feel foggy, tired, irritable, or lightheaded, especially an hour or two after eating. This is your body saying too much, too fast. And over time, this repeated stress can damage small vessels in the brain, affecting memory balance and cognitive clarity. What research tells us, a study from the American Heart Association found that people who consume the most added sugars had a 38% higher risk of stroke compared to those who ate the least. And in older adults, this effect is even more pronounced because our bodies process sugar more slowly as we age. A better way to start your day. You don't have to give up sweetness completely. The key is to choose foods with natural sugars, fiber, and protein, which help keep blood sugar steady and protect your arteries. Try oatmeal, topped with blueberries and walnuts, whole grain toast with almond butter, scrambled eggs with avocado, Greek yogurt with cinnamon and chia seeds, and swap fruit juice for whole fruit and water. It's gentler on your system and better for your brain. So before you reach for that sweet, shiny cereal box tomorrow morning, flip it over, check the label, and remember, your brain deserves a steadier start. Coming up next, we'll talk about a morning habit that happens in the first 10 seconds after you wake up. But if done wrong, it could lead to dizziness, fainting, or even stroke. It sounds harmless. You open your eyes, you swing your legs off the bed, and you stand up. Simple, right? But for many older adults, that one quick motion going from lying down to standing up too fast can trigger dizziness, lightheadedness, or even a fall. And in some cases, it can set off a chain reaction that leads to a stroke. Let's talk about why. What happens inside your body? When you lie down, your blood is evenly distributed. Gravity isn't pulling it down toward your legs. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard to keep blood flowing to your brain. But when you suddenly stand, especially after hours of sleep, your body has to adjust instantly. Your blood pressure drops, blood pools in your lower body, and your brain may get less oxygen for a few seconds. This is called orthostatic hypotension, a fancy term for your blood pressure drops when you stand up. And for older adults whose circulation and blood vessel flexibility aren't what they used to be, it's more common than you think. What you might feel if you've ever stood up and felt dizzy, lightheaded, unsteady, or like the room is tilting. You're not alone, and it's not just annoying or uncomfortable. It's a clear warning that your brain didn't get enough blood during that transition. Even brief repeated episodes of low brain oxygen can increase the risk of stroke over time. Why this is especially risky in the morning. Morning is already a high-risk time for stroke. Your blood is thicker, your pressure is rising, your brain is still adjusting. Adding sudden movement to that mix makes it even harder for your body to maintain balance and blood flow. And if you already have high blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease, this small habit could have big consequences. What you should do instead. Here's a safer, smarter routine. 1. When you wake up, stay lying down for a minute. Take a few deep breaths, stretch your arms and legs gently. Slowly sit up in bed. Let your feet dangle over the edge. Roll your shoulders, look around. Stand up gradually using support if needed. This slow transition gives your body time to adjust. It helps keep your brain fully oxygenated, and it may prevent sudden drops in blood pressure that can lead to dangerous falls or worse. So tomorrow morning before you rush out of bed, pause, take a moment, let your body catch up with your brain. Coming up next, we'll look at a morning habit that's often forgotten but missing. It could leave your body unprotected during the most vulnerable hours of your day. Life gets busy even in retirement. You wake up, you make your coffee, you check the news, and sometimes you forget. You forget to take your morning medications. It seems like a small slip. You'll take them later, right? But when it comes to stroke prevention, missing your morning meds, even just once in a while, can quietly put you at serious risk. Timing matters more than you think. Many medications for heart health, blood pressure, blood thinners, and cholesterol are designed to be taken in the morning. Why? Because stroke risk is highest in the first few hours after waking up. And those medications are meant to protect you during that time. If you forget a dose or take it too late in the day, your body may go unprotected during the window when it needs the most help. Think of it like forgetting to lock your door right before leaving for vacation. What skipping a dose can do when you miss your morning meds, your body may respond with higher blood pressure, an increased clotting, greater inflammation in blood vessels, or even irregular heart rhythms. You may not feel any different. But under the surface, these changes can raise your risk of stroke by the hour. And if you're on medications for high blood pressure, atrial fibrillation, high cholesterol, or diabetes, missing even a single dose regularly may undo weeks or months of progress. What the research shows, according to the American Stroke Association, non-adherence to prescribed medications is one of the leading contributors to stroke recurrence in seniors. In other words, people who forget their meds are more likely to have another stroke or a first one that could have been prevented. How to stay on track? Good news. You don't need a perfect memory to protect your brain. Here are a few simple tricks. Use a pill organizer with days of the week. Set a phone alarm that goes off at the same time every morning. Place your medications next to your toothbrush or coffee mug. Ask a family member or caregiver to check in if you tend to forget. You can even use medication reminder apps. Many are free and designed specifically for seniors. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to build a routine that makes missing a dose almost impossible. So tomorrow morning before you start your day, take your medication on time every time. Because when you skip a pill, you're not just missing a dose. You might be missing your first line of defense. Coming up next, a habit so simple most people overlook it completely, yet it can quietly thicken your blood and raise your stroke risk before breakfast. It's a simple thing, so simple we often forget it. But not drinking water first thing in the morning is one of the most common and most overlooked habits that can quietly raise your stroke risk. Let me explain why. What happens overnight? When you sleep, you go 6 to 8 hours without fluids. That's a long time for your body, especially your brain. You breathe, you sweat, you lose moisture, but you don't take in anything to replace it. So by the time you wake up, your body's already slightly dehydrated. Your blood becomes a little thicker, more like syrup than water. And thicker blood, it flows more slowly. It clots more easily. It puts more pressure on your heart and your arteries. For older adults whose blood vessels are already more fragile, this can create a perfect setup for a stroke. Dehydration and stroke. Risk: when you are dehydrated, your blood pressure may rise, your body produces more clotting agents. Blood flow to the brain may slow down. In fact, research from the American Heart Association shows that even mild dehydration can raise stroke risk, worsen outcomes during a stroke, and slow recovery after a stroke. And yet, many people go straight to coffee in the morning without drinking any water at all. Why it's extra important for seniors: as we age, our sense of thirst gets weaker. That means you may not feel thirsty even when your body needs water. and certain medications like diuretics or blood pressure pills can increase fluid loss overnight. That's why drinking water first thing in the morning is one of the simplest, safest, and most powerful habits you can build for stroke prevention. What you can do: start every morning with 1 glass of room temperature water, ideally before coffee or breakfast. Bonus, add a slice of lemon for gentle digestion. Support, it doesn't need to be fancy, just consistent. You'll help thin the blood, improve circulation, wake up your metabolism, and reduce stroke risk naturally. So before you reach for the coffee, the newspaper, or your phone, reach for a glass of water. It's a small act, but for your brain, it's a life-giving habit. Coming up next, we'll talk about a surprising stroke trigger hiding in your bathroom routine, one that many seniors do every morning without realizing the risk. It's not something people like to talk about, but for your health and especially for your brain, it's something we need to address. Straining during your morning bowel movement may seem like a private, harmless routine, but it can actually place sudden, dangerous pressure on your body. And in some cases, it has been linked to triggering strokes in older adults. Let's take a closer look. What happens when you strain? When you push hard during a bowel movement, your body performs what's called the Valsalva maneuver. That's a fancy way of saying you're holding your breath, you're bearing down, and your body is under tension. In that moment, several things happen. Blood pressure spikes rapidly. Intracranial pressure increases, meaning pressure inside your head. Your heart rhythm may briefly change. Blood flow to the brain may be reduced. For healthy young people, the body bounces back quickly. But for seniors, especially those with high blood pressure, heart disease, or narrowed arteries, this sudden strain can be dangerous. A real but hidden risk: doctors have seen cases where a stroke occurs during or just after a bowel movement, especially in the morning. Why? Because the body is already dehydrated, undergoing blood pressure shifts and adjusting to the demands of the day. The added strain is often just enough to tip things over the edge. Signs you're straining too much. Ask yourself, do you hold your breath when you go? Do you feel dizzy or lightheaded afterward? Do you feel exhausted or sweaty during the process? If yes, your body may be under more pressure than it can safely handle. What you can do instead: preventing strain is all about making things move naturally and gently. Here's how: drink water first thing in the morning. Eat fiber-rich foods like oats, prunes, flaxseed, and vegetables. Stay active. A short walk daily helps digestion. Consider using a footstool to raise your knees when sitting on the toilet. This puts your body in a more natural position to go. If you still struggle, regularly speak to your doctor. They may recommend a gentle stool softener or diet adjustment. The goal is not just comfort, it's protecting your brain and your blood vessels. So tomorrow morning, take it easy. Don't rush, don't force. Let your body do what it was designed to do naturally without strain. Coming up next, we'll bring it all together with a few bonus morning habits that protect your brain instead of putting it at risk. Now that we've talked about the 7 risky habits, let's shift gears, because the best part about habits is you can change them. And sometimes it only takes a small change to make a big difference, especially when it comes to protecting your brain. So here are a few simple, stroke-safe morning habits that you can start tomorrow. They're gentle, they're easy, and they're backed by science. 1. Start with deep breathing before you even sit up in bed. Try this. Place one hand on your chest, the other on your belly. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for a few seconds. Slowly breathe out through your mouth. Do this for 1 to 2 minutes. It helps lower morning blood pressure, improve circulation, and calm your nervous system before you start moving. Drink a glass of water. We said it earlier, but it's worth repeating. Before coffee, before breakfast, drink water. Room temperature is fine. Add a slice of lemon if you like. This rehydrates your brain and body after a long night and helps thin your blood just enough to improve flow. 3. Eat a light, balanced breakfast. You don't need a full meal, just enough to stabilize your blood sugar, support your blood vessels, fuel your brain. Good choices include oatmeal with nuts and berries, a boiled egg with whole grain toast, yogurt with chia seeds, half an avocado on toast. Keep it simple. Keep it steady. 4. Stretch or move gently. Don't rush into activity, but don't stay still too long either. A few shoulder rolls, a short walk down the hallway, even standing by the window and doing 5 slow squats can help. Movement keeps your blood flowing and your joints happy. 5. Take medications on time. If you've been prescribed medication, especially for blood pressure, heart rhythm, blood thinners, take them every morning at the same time. Use a pill organizer. Set a phone reminder. Place the meds near something you use daily like your toothbrush or coffee maker. Consistency equals protection. 6. Be gentle with your body. Don't stand up too quickly. Don't strain in the bathroom. Don't skip the things that seem too small to matter. Because all these little choices add up to a brain that's better protected and a life that feels more stable, more energized, and more independent. These habits may sound simple, but simple is powerful when done consistently. Up next, we'll bring everything together with a gentle recap and a reminder that protecting your brain is possible one morning at a time. Let's take a moment to pause and take this in. You've just discovered how 7 everyday habits, things we do almost without thinking, might be silently increasing stroke risk as we age. But this isn't a message meant to scare you. It's a message of awareness, of choice, and of hope. Because the truth is, even small changes made gently and consistently can help protect your brain, your body, and your independence. Whether it's sipping water first thing in the morning, standing up a little slower, or simply remembering your morning meds, these are not just habits, they're acts of self-care, of longevity, of love for yourself and those who count on you. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Do you recognize any of these habits in your own mornings? Have you ever experienced dizziness, skipped breakfast, or forgotten your pills? Let us know in the comments below. Your story might help someone else feel seen and take action. This is a community where older adults support each other, where experience matters, and where every conversation could save a life. At HealthyVitaAge, we're proud to be part of your journey. This channel is dedicated to helping seniors live longer, stronger, and more confidently with real-world tips, trustworthy health guidance, and a voice that speaks with care. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to HealthyVitaAge because your health deserves more than just information. It deserves understanding. Take care of your mornings, and they'll take care of you. See you in the next one.